I have no words to start the podcast, so Kaylin, take it away.
Well, we started with a card pull because we again are here mid-death. This time it's Cass's turn. And
Yay!
this is what Cass's card description tells us. While we have free will, there are also points on the timeline of our lives that are predestined or pre-planned, soul contracts or agreements that were made before incarnating. It could be a company you chose to work for, a relationship you plan to have, or a person you agreed to mentor or help. Whatever it is, know that it is divinely guided and will not bypass you. If you are waiting for a sign to proceed, this card is it. You are likely living out an important part of your soul's journey, and you are exactly where you need to be. This is very exciting indeed. It is time to call in the support of your helpers, both in the physical realm and the spirit world, to trust the signs coming, to take note of your dreams, to notice any feelings or visions that you receive, for you are tapping into the wisdom of the Akasha, and you are being given the go-ahead to proceed.
Damn.
Or give up.
Nope.
That hits hard, especially the very specific areas that the card mentions that you're being given the go-ahead, which pretty much covers literally every single area.
Company, mentor.
Yep.
What was the other one?
Relationships.
Oh, yuck, that one
Like
too.
literally covers every area that is causing Cass understandable anxiety.
Yeah, the anxiety wheel is fun. So it was funny because I think we talked about the anxiety meds on a couple other podcast episodes, and I was like, I'm good. I have them. I know I have them. And then last night, I started to, because vanity really gets me, if I'm being honest. It's because probably Jade, my fifth house is backed by Leo.
Yes.
I started to get a lazy eye. And I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? I'm like, it's stress response. I get it. I understand. So you guys brought up the anxiety meds piece, and I was like, I think you asked Jade, you're like, how many years has it been since you've been on man-made medicine? I'm like, like 14. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm like, you're a very different person now. It's okay to take man-made medicine sometime. And I'm like, refer to episode all about the D.
oh, sweet Claritin D. So it was funny. I just explained to them this morning, though, that like I took the medicine last night for anxiety, and I don't feel anxiety. I just feel dead now. I'm like, bleh. Like,
yeah, just side effects are a bitch.
yeah, I took one and like waited 30 minutes and I got nothing. And it says it's up to 4. So I was like, okay, I'll take a second one before I go to bed. And then, yeah, I forgot the fact that when I use man-made medicine, it stays in my system a fuck of a lot longer than any sort of plant medicine I've ever used.
Right.
That's
so maybe take one if you need to take them again and just wait and see.
Yes.
Yeah.
I should have remembered that, because I do remember like there were times when I took something and it was like, effects will last 6 hours, and like my effects, or even anesthesia from having a baby. Like they're like, you'll be not numb in like whatever 6 hours, like 18 hours later, I still can't feel my feet. So
wow.
just stays in my body.
It's like the opposite for you with plant medicine. It's hard for you to feel any effects at all. It's so crazy.
Yeah. I feel
it's not crazy, but it makes total sense.
Like yesterday, I did get clarity from working with a plant. I said to you guys, which I find funny because my dark sense of humor gets me through. I said, I feel like my dad, mushrooms in the morning and pills at night. Like,
that was so funny.
I literally laughed out loud.
Me
I was
too.
laying in bed and Anthony was like, what are you laughing about? And I'm like, gas.
You said my dad would be proud.
Yes. It'd probably be the only time I'd receive affirmation from him.
Way to go, Cass. Mushrooms in the morning, pills at night.
But honestly, like I was really hoping for some amazing like to-do list and, contact this person, do this, blah, blah, blah. And all I got was a continued list of self-care. Of like, it's cute that you're doing a massage twice a month. You should try 4 times a month. It's cute that you're waking up to download and kind of ground before the day, but you should try to also add in breath work and yoga. And I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. Like, there's only 24 hours a day. So that's where I'm at.
That's where you're at. Yeah, this is Cass and Kaylin's gotta like kind of sort through some stuff. It's okay to be on that anxiety wheel and just be like, I am not okay. I think I'm trying to say like back up, because what did we talk about last week for Kaylin? Like, what did you share last
all of
week?
it.
Yeah.
Your what?
The fact that I was literally dead. And, my
Yes.
Sananga.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's been a lot more that's happened since last week.
Well, I got help, so I'm not itching myself this week. So we've got that. I saw an allergist, and I got some potential answers, but then I had a follow-up appointment, and I have to wait because I'm technically still in an active allergic response. So they can't test me for their thoughts on what my allergy is to until I am out of my current allergic response. And I have this sneaking suspicion it's going to coincide with our level up. So,
and you were feeling better. So you pulled back on the allergy meds.
Yep.
And then it started to just come back.
Woke up the next morning with welts on my hands. So took the allergy medicine again. And what do you know? The welts went away.
Where are your welts? Just out of curiosity, because I've been getting on my right hand between my thumb and my pointer.
Yep.
Like a whole bunch of things.
So
I know.
And what did you say?
So has Diana. I gave girl last night to her, which I never do. And then I also did like Aveeno lotion and coconut oil because she got same spot, all three of us.
So I've been getting them right here on that spot. And then I also have been getting them on the palm of my hands right here, like Jesus marks.
Palms are not there for me, just the spot.
And then yesterday, really weird, I wore my wedding ring and I took my allergy medicine, all 6 doses yesterday, but I started to get an allergic response right here.
Interesting.
The
fuck.
Yeah. I know.
And the anti-anxiety meds that you were prescribed, Cass, like you have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah. So when we were talking about, actually, before we go into that, I also had something in the middle of my top of my hand this weekend when we were at Chick-fil-A, and Diana stuck a sticker to me and I thought it was just a reaction to the adhesive, but she pulled the sticker off and it didn't go away for all of Saturday too. So
there's that.
There's that little tie that I'm like, that's a little bit suspicious, because I'm like, I've never been allergic to like adhesive or latex or Band-Aid, anything like that before. So I'm sure the listeners are like, latex, tell us more. Allergic reaction.
Not that kind of a podcast today, friends.
No,
well, we always gonna take it that way. Who am I kidding?
I will still make jokes mid-death though. So no, when I went and got an anxiety med prescription, I said I've been on every single one in my kind of cycle of PTSD and anxiety in the beginning of time. So I was like, I don't want to take something every day. I know all of the tools and all of the tricks and all of the things to get out of an anxiety cycle. I'm generally pretty good. And I was like, I don't want to just numb on a daily basis. So I'm like, I want something kind of in a, hey, I'm feeling this, I can't get out of this cycle, like, please help. So she gave me an allergy medicine, which is a histamine kind of thing that also is used for anxiety, but it's similar to what Kaylin is having to take for her allergic reaction. I think it's actually one of the same ones that they prescribed to you, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's one of the ingredients in one of the, because I have like a 2-part, one of them is like a 2-part medicine, and it's one of the parts of the medicine that I'm taking. So
yeah. So I'm like, okay, so Cass, you will also be taking this for Kaylin. You
Correct.
guys are clearly connected in this very ethereal and powerful way. So just go ahead, take it.
And the other thing, so Cass took it last night, woke up this morning, feels like she has a cold. And what's funny is that I have had basically a sore throat since my like 2nd day on the medicine. And I asked my allergist yesterday, is this normal or am I getting sick? And he was like, no, that's normal.
What's interesting
Side
too,
effects are a bitch.
you guys know about the shamanic phlegm, refer to episodes related to that. but normally like when that happens to me or to anyone who's in my sphere that I'm also working with from like a healer perspective, it's always clear. We're getting like, so where it's there, it's present, we know it's there, but it's not like a sickness. It's not like you have the flu and it's nasty. It's just, it's there. So today I was like, okay, it's there. So I'm like, okay, am I in a shamanic cycle? Yes, sort of. Yes, definitely. Death. And then I was like, it's interesting because I like went to like go spit it out, which normally I don't because it was just like so thick in my throat. And I feel like what it's manually doing is like clearing, if that makes sense, like what's residual left around my throat. So I'm like, okay, I can't be put cleared possibly anymore. Like all I do is clear. Like I wake up and
Well,
I'm
because you're not just clearing for yourself though. That's the difference. You're clearing for other people too.
true.
And so you continue to go through these things because I feel like because you are who you are, you have these connections to so many of us. And so it's like, if we go through it, like boom, another way for Cass. And you're like, motherfucker, like again.
Then we might as well also tap on my special issue that started earlier this week.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go all out on this podcast. Let's go.
Give it to us.
So I was telling Jade and Kaylin that every time I talk to an investor or someone who's interested in the Aligned project or anywhere in my sphere, they're like, oh my God, what you're doing is so special. You're so brilliant, blah, 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 blah. And all in my head, the track that's like playing is like my mom particularly, is you're not special. I'd be like, hey, I read a book above grade level. You're not special. Hey, I sold, X number of Girl Scout boxes of cookies and I was number one. You're not special. Hey, I picked up the flute today and learned how to play a song versus like my normal brass instrument. You're not special. So like, I'm like in this spot where I'm like, everything is like, the feedback I'm getting is really good, but all I hear is that old track. I was like, I thought we dissolved that one a long time ago. And I'm like, oh, I guess it's coming back.
Yeah, those childhood wounds like to cycle back, that's for sure.
Next level, next onion layer.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's all connected. I mean, obviously you are needing to believe that it's special and you're special and that you're worthy to lead this. You are definitely the CEO and we all look to you. That's a lot of pressure. And for you specifically, hello, nod again to your loaded 5th house and your 6th house. It's very important to you that you know that you're worthy of bearing that load. And there's a huge part of you that does know it, but hello, childhood wounds,
like how many more layers of childhood wounds do I have? And I actually asked one of my mentors, I was like, so like, how many more layers I have? He's like, well, he goes, you have the rest of your life and then you die. And I'm like, thanks, I appreciate you. And I thought my shaman sense of humor was dark, but like, and then you die.
Yeah, that's
the
literally
rest of your life and then you die. Wow.
Well, when I was having my issues in January and had that birth chart reading and the Chiron return, and that there were so many things going on with me that I refused to look at as resurfacing childhood wounds because I've dealt with them so many times and I thought it was over. Like, this is stupid. I'm not even dealing with this again. But we don't get to decide how many times and how many layers and how many ways. So yeah.
It'd be nice if we did.
Yeah. And
Spirit was like, hi, I'm here.
I think it's like it makes so much sense though, because if you're right on the edge of something really big and really great, that's when it gets the hardest.
Yeah.
I hope we're right on the edge. We've got to be right on the edge.
I feel it. I've felt it. I still continue to feel it. All the cards are telling us yes. Everything is telling us yes. And so it's hard to deny that. The plausible deniability is at an all-time low right now. So
no, even yesterday on the call that I was on, I was explaining something from like a spiritual psychology perspective, and he was getting excited because it matches behavioral economics. So he's like, do you know what you're doing? I'm like, hold on a second. I was like, this is how I feel. Don't ask me, I make it up as I go. But he was like super pumped and super excited that like I was matching, what we're doing from a psychology level to economics. Didn't know we were doing that. Like, that's cool. Add that to the pitch
Not
deck.
surprised.
Totally.
Yeah.
We totally knew that. We totally have studied.
Yeah, sure. It was absolutely on purpose.
I'm like, my economics degree did not cover that. Just so we're we stopped at micro and macroeconomics.
Our
Right.
decisions are divinely guided. So even if
Mhm.
we don't know what we're doing, somebody else
Mhm.
much smarter than us does and tells us exactly what to do. So
Mhm.
And that's been, don't you think that's been one of the most fun, quote, fun parts of this, is like having these minds that are, you know, have lived a lot of life in the spaces that we're asking their expertise, and they're like coming in and being like, yes, yes, yes. That's very exciting and fun.
It is
Mhm.
very exciting. I just want to make sure that they're fairly compensated and feel love.
Oh no. Do you return to your little Virgo South Node, which is like, and now I will take responsibility for you. Now that you've come into my space and given me such good advice, now you're my responsibility.
Exactly.
You're my
Got another one.
responsibility.
Not another egg in your basket. Do
I know. I just got another like 3 or 4 this week. I'm like, sure. Actually, no, 5, 6. Because 2 mentors, 2 F and financial guys, potentially 2 resource investors, just another 6 to just add. And I'm like, why am I feeling anxiety? That's weird.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Huh.
Ah.
Strange.
So it is important for you to like recognize, yes, that it's a natural part of your nature to take that kind of Virgo-esque responsibility for everyone. But your answer for peace and enlightenment is to literally drop the basket of eggs you just collected and know that it will be caught by something much bigger than you.
You've got this
Right.
beautiful safety net beneath you. And if you drop
Exactly.
anything out of your basket, the net
Yeah.
is there to just gently caress it and catch it for you.
That's
Do I have
right.
to drop it, or can I actually physically throw it?
That's a really good question. I'm gonna have to think about that for
Jade's gonna go consult the cards.
Jade consults cards.
Can she throw it?
Kaylin's like, I could get down with some throwing.
I'm like, listen, I'm actually pretty good at catching shit. So, like, you know.
I don't think that trust involves throwing. I keep getting that. Like, just like
Whatever.
it's not a violent, like, get away from me. It's a release, like
There you go.
like a release of it.
I don't think it
It's
helps
like,
that almost everyone that are now in my little Virgo a helper basket are like, I've been fucked over before many times.
yeah.
Like, oh, I'm sorry. I promise I'm not gonna do the same thing. I've been fucked
I
over
don't want
many
to fuck
times.
you over.
Exactly. I'm like, it is not my intention. And I think they know that, but it's another level of that responsibility on the responsibility cake.
You know
Yeah.
what's wild though is that part of your magnetism, like this part that just like people are so drawn to, is it almost forces people to let go of those things and to just trust you blindly too. Because like a lot of people have said those things to you, but you don't necessarily do anything to make them trust you, but they do.
No.
They do. And the proof is in the pudding, as they say. I mean, we are not giving them large paychecks yet.
Yet.
They're coming because they believe in what we're doing, and they do trust you, Cass. Like, if they believe that you are going to lead well. And that is, again, just returning again. There's a cycle of anxiety. I understand it completely. It's very understandable.
I had
And
every desire last night to post a job description for a CEO on LinkedIn.
Oh my God.
you
don't
I'm
get
sure
to
you
do that.
did. You're like,
You
I
don't
want
get
to work for someone else.
Exactly. I was like,
Yeah.
that'd be nice. Anyone else want to do this? You can
And get
take my quote brilliant idea. Like, even people on our team who are the most negative people, I like mentioned last night. I was like, this guy said, my ideas blah 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 were brilliant and dangerous. And like, even the people who are negative, who are like our naysayers, were like, he's right. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Like, sit back down, give me some more negative criticism.
Tell me it's shit. Damn it.
Tell me it's not gonna work.
And it really is like growing and taking on so many different nuances and layers, and people are just coming out of the woodwork seemingly I get more and more excited every day because it's clear that this is being, the word that came into my mind is divinely guided, except that gives me a little trigger, but I still feel that.
Yeah, I still say divinely orchestrated, same thing.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's so many times they say that people stop digging for the gold right before they get there because it gets the hardest right before you get to the gold.
So the question is, do I in fact stay at the $31 hotel when I go to LA?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I don't think $31 hotel in LA sounds safe.
It looks
like an
a jail
oxymoron.
cell.
It's almost like an oxymoron.
I'll put a link in the show notes if any of you guys want to stay there.
Absolutely not.
The mattresses are
We need you
approximately
to come back from LA. See, like we can't just get you there. We also need you back in Maine with your family afterwards. And if you stay at the $31 hotel, there are very high odds that that might not happen.
that might be your last hotel.
Correct.
I did do that in Chicago, I will say, right after my divorce, when I didn't have any monies and I needed to go to a job interview. I did do that. It was a hostel. It was a hostel. So there were a lot of really like very young people there from all over the world, which was cool. It was quite an experience. It was pretty scary, but it was fun.
So would you recommend it? Just asking, we're not a friend.
I mean, you do what you have to do, but I don't think you have to do that. So there you go. That's my answer.
No, I know. It's funny because I go from like a reality of like, here's where we're at. This is what we can afford. This is what needs to happen. And then I'm like, but that makes no sense from an abundance expansion perspective. And I know that.
Absolutely.
It's still fun to start hotels sometimes by lowest to highest price.
Yeah.
You know what keeps coming through for me and I can't like shut it down. And like the worldly mind of mine is like, that's fucking dumb, Kaylin. But then the like other side of me is like, no, you can't, you limit yourself. You have to think like, if it was all here, what would I do? If it was all here, what would I choose?
Yeah.
Probably not the $31 hotel.
And if your choice was, if it was all here, I would still choose the $31 hotel, then maybe you choose the $31 hotel. But
there is a little piece of me that loves the story. So
right. And then I stayed at a $31 hotel.
I'm like, how cool would it be to like an investor be like, everything was hitting the fan. I decided to go to Malibu for one last pitch thing, and I stayed at a $31 hotel. Like, here's the definition of all the fucking.
You know what? Yeah, no, I get that. There is like this kind of like, it's not even a sick satisfaction. It's like a real, like I take a great amount of satisfaction in some of the hardest things in my life. You know,
I get that.
I did this and I turned it into this and I stayed at the hostel with a bunch of 20-year-olds and I was almost 40. I didn't care. I was.
Well, it's funny because a part of me too is like, okay, Cass, you've done the hard enough. You have enough stories that you don't need to.
Yeah, that's true.
Correct. As the person who's lived in their car.
Yeah.
Right.
So. See, that
can be the story.
That came up actually too, believe it or not, this morning when I was kind of doing this. I was like, why? I kind of was like in the cycle. I was like, why am I feeling so much anxiety from this when I've gone through so much? And I was like, oh, because I had no one depending on me. Like, it's different to have that level of like, it's fine, I'll get a gym membership, I'll shower at the gym, wash my hair, go to work, live in a car for a couple weeks, like no big deal. Versus like, oh, I have like 2 kids, a dog, a house, a family. I don't even know how many goddamn employees that are working on this project.
Yeah.
Probably a good thing that I don't know, actually. I was thinking of that too. So
yeah,
it's like, it's different. So
it is different.
My Virgo basket then was, just me. And Gizmo. So
yeah,
nasty, vicious dog.
So yeah, it totally makes sense. It makes all the sense in the world. And And so yesterday when I pulled cards for you, I pulled the tower, which is this burning down tower. It's the one we pull it all the time. It's like the death card and the tower card. Crumble, die, crumble, die. And then underneath that was all swords. Swords represent the mind. It's like everything that you're going through right now is all in your head, right? It's just a resorting of things. It's not like you're supposed to be paying attention to even the feelings or the emotions or what's actually happening. It's just pay attention to your brain and where your brain is taking you. And so, yeah, I think that applies to everything that we just said.
Yay, swords.
It's just swords, so many swords.
Meanwhile, my head's like, did you shuffle them, Jade?
I did. I shuffled the hell
Jade
out of
had to start with, I have shuffled these cards more than ever today, just so you know.
Yes, because it was so weird that it was like 5 sword cards. So weird.
What are the odds of
The
that?
odds, I know, seriously. I've asked myself that so many times with my tarot cards. What are the odds that I just pulled that again? Or, yeah. Yeah.
Yay.
So, that's where we're at. We're not even pretending to do nice, tidy subject matters. And it's just, you get to hear us riffing.
Working through this.
Correct.
Basically.
But oddly enough, when we do shit like this, the podcast listenership jumps up 10% or 40% or whatever the case may be. So apparently people like the shit.
They're in it.
Exactly. That's true. I think everyone collectively is in it too. So
so true.
We're just pressing record on our in it. Anything else we want to add today?
Well, by the next time that we record, what will have happened?
I'll be in Malibu.
And say what you're doing. Yeah, say what you're doing in Malibu.
I am networking with about 120 other people, 60 of which are investors.
And how did you get there?
Like 37 dots that finally connected at the end.
Exactly.
I'm like, you want to start that story at 40 minutes into the podcast? I was like, Jesus.
No, it's just like, if this question is for you to take note of where you're going to be this week and what had to happen for you to get there this week.
Yep.
It started a long time ago, the journey to get there.
What's funny is it's not even like Austin's the first thing that came to mind, which was last summer. But then even that, there were 90 steps before Austin. So like, oh, that's exciting.
It is exciting.
It all started on November 11th, 1988. It was a Friday in Southern California.
I love it. So we'll give you an update.
Next week we'll have lots of stories to share.
Lots of stories.
Positive, uplifting, encouraging ones.
Exactly.
You know what? I know we normally roast something, but I feel like I need to just breathe some gratitude for this week for you two, because it started out very hard. And I got to go through something that was very terrible and very sad with you guys there supporting me. And I could not have done it without you two. And so I'm so incredibly grateful for you guys and for your friendship and the way that you guys just love me and my family. And yeah, I'm so grateful for you two.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It was an honor to be able to sit with you, and technology, man, we would not be able to do that without. We're in very different places in this world, and I'm grateful for that too. I mean, we're living proof that there can be a bridge between wellness and technology.
Right. God.
Beautiful sum. No, I agree. It was, again, divinely timed, divinely orchestrated. You've seen our calendars. You've seen the very little overlap of emptiness. if any.
Mhm.
I think the next openness of emptiness is like 3 weeks for the three of us together. So when those pockets of times come, it's interesting because like our calendars are always cleared.
When they need to
They
be.
need to
Yeah.
be.
Mhm.
So I'm also
Yeah.
going to send you the definition of roast, Kaylin.
No, did you hear what I said? I said
Yeah,
I'm not going to.
I
Oh
know.
yeah.
So no.
Yeah.
I have nothing to roast other than myself today. So
You're mid roast.
exactly. I'm literally mid roast. Maybe it's not dying, it's just being cooked and slow roasted. Roast.
Yeah,
No big deal.
the mental image of that is interesting.
You're welcome. Well, here's to a more shiny, happy, positive, joy-filled, abundant podcast next week.
There you go. Cheers to that.
Amen.